Hello, it's the Saturday Speakie, and God, I have got washed it, slept on it and went out in the wind hair. That's bad. Okay, I have some things to talk about today. Thank you to everyone who came into my live stream thingy and chatted on whatever day it was. Thursday? Something like that. Yeah, I was testing the live stream thing and my webcam and mic and everything to see how it worked, really, and it was jolly good fun. Had about 31 people in there at one time. I was doing that because I'm approaching 10,000 subscribers. I need about another 150. Get subscribing, damn it, if you're not subscribed already. And the plan is then I will do a live stream. It'll basically be Q&A. I mean, that's what I do when I do live streams. I just sit there and people ask questions and I answer them, and if no one asks questions I just sit there like a doofus with nothing to talk about. So I will announce beforehand and maybe do a trailer video or whatnot when I'm going to do that. Obviously I need to hit the 10,000 first. It will last, I don't know how long it will last actually. I think there is a time limit on things like that, but couldn't tell you what time it will be. I want to try and do it at a time when lots of people can get there, so very likely at a weekend, probably in the evening or something. We'll see, but anyway, that's coming up at some point. Anyway, what have I got to talk about now? I'm going to do a video response. This is actually, well, I saw this via Shenmueso. It's 10 gaming questions by NES Nutter, and quite a few people have been doing these 10 questions things, and I had a look at this one because the questions are really good and I thought I'm going to answer that one. So here we go. 1. The game you got most angry playing. I had a little bit of a think about this and then recalled a video I did was playing a game that I got really irate at and then got a lot of abuse for. And that was Tomb Raider 2. I didn't get past the first area in the game. I found the level design combined with the very wooden, unintuitive controls just enraged me. I mean, I was chucking the F-bomb around left, right and centre in that video. I don't know if the video is still up. Can't remember. Yeah, it enraged me. I found that the controls so unintuitive. The push button to walk instead of run was just dumb to my mind. The whole you move in set blocks of space rather than just walking like steps I found awkward, and I just kept falling off of things. You know, there'd be ledges that you couldn't see if it was a ledge or not, and the only way you knew was to take a step onto it, and you either fell off or you didn't. Leaps of faith, all kinds of stuff that aggravated the crap out of me. I was dying left, right and centre. I got very angry playing that game. I've never played it since. I doubt that I ever will. Disliked greatly. Question number 2. Emulation, yes or no? I am very much in favour of emulation as a concept, as something that exists. I think it's good, it's important, it's necessary, because as Shenmueso pointed out, in time all of this hardware will fail. Even, you know, I've got stuff here now that is 30 years old that works, but it doesn't matter if you use these things or not and look after them or not, they will fail. Corrosion is a thing, chemical breakdown in things like capacitors is a thing. Unless you're an electrician who can replace all of those parts with modern solid state counterpart sort of things, and have it stored away in a light-proof oxygen reduced, I don't know, state somewhere, these things are going to fail eventually, and the only way to preserve the games is through emulation. I mean, and discs failed. Tapes I'm actually finding to be more reliable than floppy disks. CDs can fail. I had a mass of Amiga CDs. They all failed, which surprised me actually. So yes, emulation I think is a good thing. It's important. It's necessary. Saying that, do I use it now to play games? Not if I'm at home. No, except for MAME. I use MAME because I don't have the arcade systems. So, you know, if it's an arcade game I want to play, say iRobot or Star Wars Arcade, well, it's going to have to be MAME, isn't it? But in terms of consoles and computers, do I emulate? No, because I've got the real thing, and I would rather use the real thing. But would never look down on anyone who uses an emulator to play console games, old computer games, because it's cost effective, it's space effective, efficient, whatever. You know, and that's about playing the games. As a gamer, it makes absolute sense. As a collector, well, you know, emulation I think is neither here nor there in terms of collecting. I don't consider a massive collection of ROMs to be a thing, but that's really not the point. If it's all about experiencing the games, emulation, yes, absolutely, bang on. I think it is a very valid thing. Okay, next question, number 3. When you were young, where did you buy your video games? That depends very much what system I was playing. Atari 2600 games I bought from a shop. Do you know, I can't remember what it was called. It was bought out by a chain called BT's, but it was something before that in Milton Keynes shopping centre, and I'm damned if I can remember what it was called. I actually googled it recently and found out what it was called, but I've since forgotten. But yeah, it was BT's in Milton Keynes shopping centre, and that was for the 2600. Then for my Acorn Electron, I would buy games either in the little newsagents in the village where I lived, or there was a computer shop in Milton Keynes shopping centre called Softly, and I would buy games for it in there. And then I got my Mega Drive and SNES and Amiga, and I would buy games from Dixon's. And well, I mean, they did the games for them just about all over the place. Toy shops, electronics shops, computer shops, all sorts. Electronics boutique, Virgin Megastore, you name it. You could get them anywhere by then. Number 4, favourite looking console up till now. Mega Drive Mark 1. It's a very, very, very close run thing between the Mega Drive Mark 1 and the Atari 2600 Vader. They're both black, they both have a shape and proportions that I like. They're nice and clean and tidy, and they're black, and that just looks cool. I kind of like the look of the PS3 as well, but no. Mega Drive Mark 1, Atari 2600 Vader. I'm going to say the Mega Drive just edges it. I don't like the Mega Drive Mark 2. They ruined it. They just made it look cheap, where originally it was really kind of sleek and kind of space age. I mean, we've got the black with the white details on it, the writing and whatever. I don't like the Japanese ones, or I think even the American ones with the red. Don't want any red on it, just want it black with a little bit of white. Okay, question number 5. Favourite gaming era? Well, that's a tricky one, because in terms of technical capability and whatnot, I would say now the sandbox type games you can play and the visual detail and everything, Grand Theft Auto 5, staggering, and that's the kind of gaming I always wanted. But I am older, and I am somewhat jaded, it has to be said. There is a very large element of been there, seen that, done that, bought the t-shirt, read the book, whatever. But the time for me where things were, I could see that gaming was developing a certain way, that there was progression in technology and game design, would be the 16 to 32-bit era, and by that I mean the Mega Drive and the Amiga, particularly the Amiga in terms of 3D. It was, they were doing 3D on the Amiga, and by like the 1200 it was 32-bit. And I had an amount of excitement at that time. Gaming was, I was young enough to still be, I wasn't jaded. I hadn't seen it all. I was excited by it still, and then I could see gaming was progressing and continuing to progress, and progressing in a direction that I liked. I was excited by the idea of 3D virtual worlds, and I played Hunter, and I knew things were going in a direction that I really liked. And first-person shooters were coming about, things like Gloom, and I knew gaming was going somewhere that I really liked. Yes, so while the games are more advanced now and have reached the place that I wanted them to be, I don't have the excitement that I had in the 16 to 32-bit era. So I'm going to say then, Mega Drive, Amiga era. Question number 6. If next gen was download only, would you buy the system? That depends. It would depend on the price of the console, the price of the games, and would it work offline? Could you... Alright, the console would have to cost about 150 quid, no more than 150 quid. The games would have to cost no more than a tenner. And they would have to be playable offline. Obviously you've got to be online to download them, but if you've got to be online to play them, I don't want to know. And forget all that streaming the game bullshit. I want the digital data on my console. Ideally I'd like to be able to store it on some kind of removable media that's transferable, but I very much doubt that they'd let us do that. But if you have to be online for it to check in, I don't want to know, because all of the big companies and third parties as well, if they go bust, you then can't play your game. If that game's got to check in, you're just so wide open to losing your game. I mean, Sony are financially shaky at the moment. PlayStation is doing very well, but Sony as a company are on dodgy ground. Microsoft, well, their other business is doing well, and I suppose Xbone is selling, but it's not doing fantastically well, and Nintendo, well, you know, we've talked about that. I don't trust none of them. Nothing lasts forever, companies especially. And I will not spend money on something like that unless there's some kind of security there. So if it has to log in, I don't want to know. Question number 7. Favourite video game character? Sonic the Hedgehog, probably. Yeah, I would say so. I do like, oh, what's his name? I can't bloody remember his name. Thingy, out of, here, I've got the mental block going on now. Half-Life geezer. Gordon Freeman, not to be confused with Morgan Freeman. He's cool, and I was sitting in the studio, I've forgotten the name of the production company. There's the people who do the Gadget Show. I was sitting there because I was lending them my Atari 2600 Heavy Sixer for a video shoot. And Jason Bradbury kind of walks in and looks at me and says, "You look like Gordon Freeman." And I was like, Thank you, that's a compliment. I really like that game. You said good, it was intended as one. So, you know, it made me smile. Yeah, so Gordon Freeman, Sonic the Hedgehog, and only early Sonic the Hedgehog. It pisses me off. They've changed how Sonic looks. He looks wrong. He really looks wrong. Sonic 1 and 2, and I guess 3. By the time they got him onto Nintendo consoles, he got all the long skinny legs, and the body was longer, and the face was like, he looked like a teen hedgehog. It was wrong, and I don't like what they've done to him. But the early ones, great. Next question. 8. A game series you've always hated. Hate is a strong word. I'm not going to say I hate any game series. There is a game series that I have only tried to play once because I have no interest. No, I played 2 games. Zelda. I just don't. It does nothing for me. It irritates me. On the occasions I've played it, I've just been faffing about trying to find anything about it that I found interesting or amusing or enjoyable or that served any kind of purpose whatsoever. And no, Zelda, not remotely my cup of tea at all. I would not say I hate it. I know damn well it's a very well produced series and very popular, and to a certain kind of person is heaven. But for me, do not want. Won't ever play it again. It's one of those games. Every so often I play a game that aggravates me and I dislike it greatly. And when I do that and make a video of it and say what's on my mind, if I'm slating it and it's a popular game, I get so much shit. Tomb Raider and Zelda, Ocarina of Time. Tomb Raider 2 it was, in fact, because I like Tomb Raider 1. Yeah, I made videos of those and just said what was on my mind, as I do. Yeah, massive thumbs down. Loads of them. I think I have more thumbs down than thumbs up. Well, you know, I'm honest about what I like and don't like, and I don't like Zelda. I will never make another Zelda video, ever. And I doubt that I'll ever play another Zelda game. Not my thing. 9. Disc/cart only, or boxed and complete. I don't care. So I guess disc/cart. Well, you know, no, I just don't care. If I can play the game, I'm fine. I'm not a game collector. If I need instructions, then I will want to have the instructions with it. But beyond that, I suppose if they're discs, if it's like PS2 games or PS1 or something, if they're on CD, I want them in a case, just to protect the disc. But cartridges, no, I don't care. Floppy disks, I suppose I would want them looked after or whatever, but I don't care about the original packaging. I've got a mass of cartridges for like Mega Drive, SNES, Atari, all sorts of stuff, Coco, ColecoVision. No, it's nice to have original packaging, the original box, especially where the Mega Drive is concerned. I really like the Mega Drive box. I think they're good. But if there's something as robust as a cart, I don't mind, because I'm only going to play them, and an awful lot of the games that I play aren't even like originals. I will use downloads on an SD card if there's an interface for it that will allow me to play it on the original hardware. Yeah, so doesn't matter to me. Okay, number 10. A zombie has broken into your home and you can only use one object within a 2-meter radius to where you are now. What do you grab to fight it off with? Well, I had to think about that because initially I was going to say my camera tripod. But it's actually, that tripod is really quite light. And you hit something with that and it ain't going to do an awful lot. So I had a look around And while I was looking at my Micro VTech monitor up there, sitting on top of my Amiga 4000, that, you could cave a zombie's head in with that. But it's actually kind of awkward to get down, and I'll probably end up knocking the whole shelf down at the time trying to pick it up. So I think my Apple Macintosh SE, which sits just there, it's within the 2 meter radius, it's got a good bit of weight to it, it's got a handle on it, so you can swing it around and bash a zombie in the face with it. Yeah, and it's probably the most useful thing you could ever want to do with an Apple Mac SE, because that one, it's nice, but you can't do a lot with it these days. And my game of Star Wars on it is it's unstable. I think there was an operating system update or whatever that isn't on there. Whatever, don't care. Yeah, that would be my anti-zombie weapon, Apple Mac SE. Vectrex is actually quite handy for that as well. It's got the same kind of handle. It's got the same form factor actually. So maybe have a Vectrex in one hand and an Apple Mac in the other, and just, you know, swing them about. That'd do. There is room to swing a Mac and a Vectrex in here, just. Okay, that is that then. Link down there to the original video by NES Nutter. And well, seeing as I saw it on shenmueso's channel, I'll link to his as well. Okay, moving on. I received a question on Facebook via Kouen, the thesymbianfreak, link to his channel. And he asked me an interesting question, which I had to think about it. And that question was, if you could name a retro gaming YouTuber you look up to, who would it be and why? I really had to think about this, because look up to, that in my mind at least is a very specific thing. There are lots of people who I respect on YouTube and who I like on YouTube, lots of people, loads, so many, but look up to requires some very specific kind of criteria, and I guess maybe they don't have to fulfill all of them, but certainly most of them. For me to look up to someone, generally I would say they've got to be older than me. To look up to, I consider someone to be like a mentor or a role model, if you like. Certainly someone, yeah, I think is maybe smarter than me, more experienced than me, wiser than me, something like that. It's a very specific thing, look up to. So what would I look for in a retro gaming YouTuber who I look up to? They would have to know more on the subject than me, and in that, not necessarily more about gaming, but more about the hardware, and I suppose specifically more about the computers or the obscure things. And just about everyone will know more about the technical aspects of any given system. There'll be everyone and his dog will know more about the Commodore 64 and using it and how it works, probably. But know more about obscure systems, be able to look at a thing and say, oh yeah, I know what that is, or I've heard of them, or something. You know, I'm not an expert. I have a little bit of knowledge about an awful lot of things, and for me to look up to someone, they would need to know about more things, or heard of them, or be familiar with them, something like that. They would need to have a very, very, very extensive collection of gaming kit for me to look up to them. They would have to have been running their YouTube channel for a long time and have had an amount of success with it, and be doing it in a way that I find enjoyable, that I think that's good. They're really doing a good job there. I'm impressed by that. And there are several people who probably fall into, cover a good deal of those points. And it's really, really difficult. I mean, Gamester81, he's got a good bit of knowledge, he's got an epic collection, he's been doing it a long while, he's had some success. And then you've got Freaking D, Lazy Game Reviews, Clint. He I really like what he does and how he does it. He's got the knowledge, he's got the collection, he's got the enjoyable YouTube channel. And then somehow they all, those three, they tick the boxes that mean like uber respect. Do I find myself looking up to them? No, I don't. Which doesn't mean... It's tricky. They're not older than me. None of them are older than me. And then I have a friend who no longer has an active YouTube channel, which kind of is the only reason I'm not saying him. It's a chap called Mark, who used to have a channel called UK Retro Games, who is older than me, he knows more than me, he's got a bigger collection than me, he's a really nice guy, and if I've got a question, I know he will likely know the answer. And yeah, I do, I look up to him, but he's not really, because he's not got an active YouTube channel now, I can't give him as my answer. I look up to him, but he's not a YouTube channel that I look up to. So, my final answer, I guess, a retro gaming YouTuber who I look up to. Doesn't tick all the boxes because he's not older than me. But ticks all the other boxes. Epic collection, nice guy, incredibly knowledgeable, really good at what he does. Entertaining channel, having some success with his channel, and what he does with his channel is for absolutely the right reasons, and that's sharing his knowledge and his experience and his enjoyment of retro gaming. And that's Luke Morse 1, and if you don't know who he is, you're missing out. He is a YouTuber who, yeah, I can honestly say I look up to him as a retro gaming YouTuber. He's the man, I would have to say. I really did have to think about that, and I must thank Kouen for the question, because it's an interesting question. It's worth pondering on, I think. And it did take me a while. So there you are, that's that. Probably a ton of people now saying, you didn't bloody mention me. There are tons of people who I consider, because there are tons of people who I respect and like, and who are very, very impressive in terms of what they do. But if I was to name everyone who I considered, we would be here for a long time, and I will do that at some point. I'll do a big, long... I mean, I've done them before, like shout-out videos where I just spoke about loads of people who I think are great, and I'll probably do that again sometime, but not right now. Okay, now, final thing, I have a shout-out. I'm not going to do my usual thing and turn the camera around, because... YouTube asks, basically. The thing with copyright is you have to own absolutely everything that appears in your video, and the moment you're showing someone else's channel, you leave yourself open. And I'm absolutely positive that no one I've ever shouted out would ever say, hey, that's my copyright material, you're showing my stuff, even if it's just an icon or a piece of graphic or whatever. I know no one is ever going to say copyright, but YouTube are dicks about it sometimes, and so whenever I do a shout out now, I'm not going to point at the screen, because it leaves a chink that is open to being exploited if they wanted to, and they have on occasion, for other reasons, said yeah on something that I could have not had a problem with, but I can't claim 100% ownership of what's on the video if I'm showing someone else's channel. So anyway, moving on from that, explanation over. Who am I shouting out? Well, he's been shouted out a couple of times by a couple of other people who I like and enjoy watching, respect their opinions, and I've actually been... I was already subscribed to him when they shouted him out. But anyway, I thought, I'm just going to jump on the bandwagon here and shout out Novabug, because I like what he do in it. He's an English retro gamer. He does gameplay videos. I thoroughly enjoyed his most recent video was of a game I loathe. I loathe it so much, which is Operation Thunderbolt on the GX4000. And his video demonstrates very adequately why I loathe that game. Novabug has a liking for the GX4000. He's a strange guy. I kind of like it, but I also think it's a sack of shit. But I like watching his videos, and his whole style is it's what I like to see in a YouTuber, a gameplay or a gaming YouTuber. And it's not all gameplay. He plays and he talks, and he does it live. You know, he plays the game and talks while he's doing it, and I like that kind of thing. Proper reviews are all very well, but you kind of lose the spontaneity, and he's got some spontaneity in there, and I like that. He does talky videos, retro waffle he calls it, and talks about assorted different things. I'm just sitting here looking at the titles, and I won't read them out to you. He does talkies and gameplays, and well, I know a channel like that, and I enjoy it very much. So yeah. He's cool. He's got a nice attitude. He's down to earth, chilled, chirpy, and I like what he does, and very worth subscribing to if you like that kind of thing, which you should. No, there I am telling you what you should do. I wouldn't stand for that if I were you. Now, I think that covers it really. I like what he does. Check him out. That's the thing. I'm not telling you to subscribe. I'm asking you to check out his channel if you've got a minute or three. And if you like what he's doing, then subscribe. Because that's what it's all about. That will do there, I think. So, what's coming up next? I don't know. I am struggling at the moment. As you will have noticed, my output has become erratic. Life is complicated right now. I've got things happening. Sleep is an issue, sleeping at the right time. Me being awake in the day while Andrea is also awake in the day, and having time and having the energy and having the something to talk about or whatever, it's kind of elusive. Many's the time I'm awake enough and got something to talk about or whatever, but Andrew's asleep and that, like, the bedroom's right there next to this one, and if I sit here waffling, I'll wake her up. Anyway, so yeah, erratic output. I'm probably going to do at least one more live stream test, because I'm going to try different microphone and camera setups to try and get a better quality than the last test, because while the video quality was acceptable, the sound really wasn't. The audio was piss poor. I want to get used to it, because I mean the first 10 minutes of that video, if you watch the recording, are just me sitting there going, I don't know what this is doing. Is it working? That's, you know, that doesn't make for good viewing. So I will be doing some more testing, so you can probably expect to see me live. I will not be making announcements beforehand, so it's like, if you just happen to see me live, do come join. But it will be spur of the moment until such time as I hit 10,000, and then I will be announcing the time and the date and whatever, and I'll do a several hour Q&A, chit chat, whatever, which should be fun, or might bore you rigid, whatever. Anything else? That depends. I mean, I want to do some more gameplay videos, but I don't know what of yet. As I said in that live thing I did, I'm torn at the moment. I don't know what system I want to set up. Space is an issue. I'm waiting for an EverDrive cartridge to arrive. It has been dispatched already, which is good, so it's entirely down to getting across the Atlantic, and I guess customs. I suppose it will get held up somewhere and I'll have to give someone some money, I don't know. But then once that's arrived, expect 32X Mega Drive and Master System games, videos, thing. Yep. And that weather's bloody horrible. And for anyone who's wondering, no, we don't have flooding around here. I live near the top of a hill, so it's not an issue anyway, which is good. My sister is crazy. She's just gone to Dorset yesterday. I don't know what she's thinking of. Yeah. I think that will do. I'm going to wrap it up and edit this thing. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider clicking the thumbs up button. I upload videos daily, so go ahead and hit subscribe if you'd like to see more. To all those who've already subscribed, I'd just like to say a great big thank you.